Welcome to your Monday Morning Pearl. I'm Steve Keck. Today, we're going to continue our conversation around some management tricks to get the most out of your team. Now, we've talked about how the average tenure of most employees is around 2 to 4 years, and I want you to think about that for yourself. This may be true for you as well. And so today's trick is this: act as if you're about to be replaced. And when I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking about this in the positive sense. How would you, as a manager or a salesperson, respond if you knew that at some point you were about to be promoted? Early on in my career, every 6 to 12 months, I was moving to a new office to turn it around. When I walked in, the way I set up my sales team was to expect for me to only be there for a short period of time. So I had to set up systems, processes, and training to make sure that my team was ready for me to vacate the premises. I was different from others in my peer group because I was consistently adapting to allowing others to take on responsibility that they felt their teams weren't ready for. And I used the management trick that if I knew something, someone else needed to learn it. And I had a mindset and set up early on that you were going to be managed up or managed out. So when I started with this expect to be replaced mindset, what I did is I took a look at all the processes, the client relationship management processes, the sales process. How do we develop a process where someone doesn't rely on a single person in order to do business with you? So what I immediately did when I brought in a new client is I would immediately begin to allow someone else in my office to help manage the relationship. Meaning I knew that they needed at some point to know a different person in the organization because I might not be in front of them on a day-to-day basis in the future. And what that did was it created a broad group of people who all understood what my client needed and were responsive to their needs in the way that I expected that to be taken care of. I even went so far as to lose sales with my clients to my people. If I wasn't able to be engaged enough to upsell a client of my own and my associate did, hey, they earned it. And the second thing it did was set a fire in the sense of urgency in my office and my team. They all knew that they were going to have to step up because I was immediately going to pass them responsibilities with my clients, with their clients, with learning, with training, and setting up and establishing new processes in the office. And that urgency translated into greater sales from everyone on the team. The last thing I had to do to make this trick work was I had to begin to broadcast my team's accomplishments and capabilities upstairs. Part of your job is to be a champion for your sales team. What that means is you need to broadcast the successes and the new responsibilities that someone has taken on to your upper management. Because your boss is busy, they're not going to take the time to figure out whether your assistant manager or an associate in your sales team is taking management responsibility. You have to tell them. And I did it in a variety of ways. I would email someone a response and copy my boss and say, Jim, thanks for the great job you did on taking care of my client by doing X. I even got to the point where I stopped having all the answers for my boss when they called. I referred them to my assistant who was going to take my place because they needed to demonstrate their skill set. So they would call me and be like, hey, what about X? I'm like, you know what? Becky takes care of that. Let me get you talk to her and I'll let her show you what we've done. If your boss gives you pushback, I would just respond to this. Hey, you wanted me to make sure I got it done, not that I had to do it. And I thought Becky was qualified to be able to do it, and she's demonstrating that it's getting done right. So let's trust her to do that because at some point you're going to need a manager and Becky is going to be there for you. So set the process in place that you are going to be replaced. Act as if and build a sense of urgency and then broadcast your team's accomplishments to your upper management. Teach them to think of your team first when they're looking to promote. And that trick will take you places because they know that you get it done, even if your team is getting it done. Expect to be replaced this week. Set the stage for how to get yourself moving forward. You don't have to know where you're going to know that you may be at some point. These management tricks that I've been showing you are there to help you create an environment where your team begins to grow on a regular basis. Take these to heart, put them into practice, and see the amazing results. And as always, if you need help or guidance in how to develop a management style like this, reach out to us. We love to coach sales leaders on how to make teams thrive. You can find us on our website or one of our social channels.